So you need to hold the records when it's illegal to hold those records. They belong to we the people. They don't belong to any given employee of we the people. They belong to every single one of us, and that's why we have them. Is so we can know, are they lying? Are they telling the truth? What's on this record? We all have the right to challenge anything on record. Alright, now, then they say they don't have any records. So I go to report this coup attempt to the FBI. They don't even listen to me. They hung up on me. They claim they're going to arrest me for harassment, but they ain't done nothing yet. I called them earlier this is a Saturday. I called them earlier this week, and I told them everything. I said, man, if y'all going to arrest me for this, then I'm going to face the charge. Here I am. And I was at the sheriff department when I told them that. I said, here I am. I'm right out in front of the sheriff's office. What you want to do? I talked to a Bay County sheriff deputy. Told him I needed to get in touch with Interpol. The reason I did that is because when I called Interpol about all this, they said I had to go through a law enforcement communications channel. All right, well, according to Bay County Sheriff's deputy that I spoke with, it don't make any sense that a coup would be being performed. And I'm like, what? How's that not make sense? He had no answer. And he's responded with, that's not his level of enforcement. Well, everybody from the school guard crosswalk to the attorney general, it's their level. Okay, it's jurisprudence for every single one of us here in the United States. This is a coup against our government. There is no law enforcement in which it is above there. And enforcement level, none of you. So, what was he talking about? I don't know. It makes me wonder whether or not he's in on it. So, then I find out, okay, they're attempting to do away with this thing called ICE. So I did some digging. I found out then there's a day after the scheduled or the announced scheduled date in which they are to dissolve ICE. There's an event in Maryland, Pride of Baltimore 2 or something. And the way it looks, okay, if the feds are doing their job and they have seized my money from Eddie and Johnny, or Eddie, I don't know about Johnny. I don't know what he's got. All I know is about Johnny is that he's been revenue accountant for many years, and when McGregor was conducting the unlawful gambling, and they would take that money and distribute it to every single politician in the state above and beyond their salary, which is illegal, is a contribution to both political parties. And you only get one vote. You're not allowed to contribute to both political parties and pit them against each other. Yet they've been doing that for decades. And how do they get away with it? And when the feds step in and say, hey, look, you're doing this, it's illegal, you have to stop. They just say, hey, look, man, ain't nothing illegal about gambling. It's not a federal issue, it's a state issue. Get out of our business. And at the same time, they turn around trying to tell them what they can and can't do. For state trying to tell the feds what they can and can't do. It don't work that way. No, it all amounts to, the evidence says, the evidence of condition, that is. In other words, it is a circumstantial evidence. But the evidence of circumstances indicate that the feds are paid off too. Alright, now they're nowhere. Alright, so apparently the FBI is nothing more than a corrupt syndicate disguised as a law enforcement bureau. Alright, that's what amounts to. Now, hopefully I'll be proven wrong. Hopefully the feds will actually do the job and come out of nowhere. But I hadn't seen it yet. If they take ICE money and give it to finance these coup performers, they got to get the money somewhere. So if the feds are finally starting to do the job and they've seized my money, then they're going to have to come up with some other way to pay for this coup. Meaning, if they dissolve ICE and the following day they meet all their coup performers in Baltimore and pay them with the money that ICE would have had, but since they scrub ICE, they no longer need that money to pay ICE with. Yet, it's already in the budget as gone. so no one will miss it. And there's their money to pay these coup performers right there. That's what's happening right now, is on November 1st, 2021. So far, that's what I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. Is the feds are still nowhere, and the hostile executive takeover of the state of Florida is still being conducted, even though this could have been over 2 years ago. Bay County Public Defender's Office did not enter the evidence. When they asked me if I would want one of their attorneys, I said, will that attorney enter what I tell them to enter? Because if they're not going to, then I don't want one. And if they're going to, then I do want one. They said, yeah, we'll enter whatever you want to enter, Mr. Oliver. And did they enter? No. According to the records, there's 0 evidence entered. I never agreed to that. They entrapped me. It's called entrapment. Alright, it's also called obstruction, evasion, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And this coup would have been stopped if they had entered the evidence then. They didn't enter it. And so the coup is still being performed. The hostile executive takeover of the state of Florida is still underway, being conducted, and active. Alright, now, we already know heroin's illegal. If you disguise a drug as anything other than what it is, then it's called, what, disguising. That's all it is. And so you got heroin disguised as pills. Oh, okay, well, if I disguise cocaine as pills, does that mean that I get to distribute cocaine? Alright, well, they've already pled guilty to felony, and the contract is null and void, and yet, for some reason, we're still under contract. The state of Florida is still under contract with Big Pharma. Alright, but I'm not. I'm not the state. I'm the private sector. I don't got nothing to do with me. That contract doesn't cover anything other than state employees and those that the state are responsible for in provisional medical treatment, meaning inmates, state employees, stuff like that. It affects 0 home remedy. People who use home remedy, they're not under contract with Big Pharma. Private sector, not under contract with Big Pharma. That contract means nothing at all to private sector and home remedy. Yet, law enforcement behaves like private sector and home remedy don't even exist. Why? I don't know. It's medical malpractice. It's legal malpractice. And they're still conducting it. And when someone like me attempts to enter evidence and they agree to allow me to enter the evidence, and then the record says there was no evidence entered, entrapment, and that's what happened. I ain't making this up. So that's the current status as of November 1st, 2021. Thank you for watching.